Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about, will Instacart be acquired by Uber Eats? There's this headline going around and there have been theories on the subject that Instacart is looking to be acquired. They tried to do that with Doordash way back in the day, but there is rumor that they're pivoting to Uber Eats on the subject. And I don't know if that's actually the case. I would like to believe it's not, to be honest, but we'll see. So with that said, I want to go over everything that's being said in this article, how it actually is for Doordash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub drivers, and everything in between. So with that said, let's get started. Shares of the grocery delivery platform Instacart jumped about 11% this week after an analyst speculated that the company could be an acquisition target for Uber Eats. Instacart, which went public at $42 per share last September, has seen its stock languish ever since, falling to a new low below $23 earlier this month before rebounding back up to about $27 on Wednesday. Instacart, being a grocery delivery platform, would be an interesting addition to Uber Eats, but they already have Corner Shop, so I don't think that's going to be the case. And even still, Corner Shop was actually just moved into the main app with Uber. They just made those the shop and pay orders that you would normally see. I don't know if shifting to Instacart would be a good move on their part, but they would most likely get the Postmates treatment to where they would just shut down the app and focus on their own stuff. And for most gig workers, that would be a bad thing. And we'll go over that later. Deepak Matvinan, an analyst at Wolf Research this week, upgraded Instacart to an outperform rating and said the company could be a takeover target for Uber Technologies, parent of Uber Eats, according to reports. He noted that investors are concerned about Instacart's sales growth potential, but he believes the company is not a broken business as the share price implies. Instacart has recently cut their base pay, and I definitely see why people can see it as broken, but most of the money that really hardcore Instacart shoppers were making were from the tips and from bigger wholesale chains such as Costco, BJ's, etc. And people were making bank that way. Wolf raised its target for the stock to be $35 per share. Instacart currently has a market capitalization of about $7.2 billion. A spokesperson for Instacart declined to comment on the speculation of the acquisition, and Uber could not be reached for comment. Wolf Research also could not be reached for comment. So there's really no chatter about this whatsoever. Wolf Research just assumes that's a good target, which it wouldn't be the first time that somebody who speculates on stocks would be right. In its third quarter earnings release in November, its first since going public, Instacart posted a loss of about $2 billion, primarily related to its IPO, but said that adjusted EBITDA more than doubled versus the year ago third quarter to $163 million. Revenues for the quarter were up 14.4% to $764 million versus the prior year period. So overall, Instacart is growing, no matter how people have speculated that it's going to go under. But honestly, I don't know if it would end up being eaten up by Uber Eats anyway. And not that we would want that as gig workers anyway. Let's be realistic for a second. The way that gig workers make more money is not by having one platform being that much bigger and better than the rest of them. It's by having multiple platforms fight for our work. We make more money that way. Oh, Uber is not paying properly to me because their algorithm is sending other drivers orders instead of me. I'll go to DoorDash. Oh, DoorDash isn't sending me orders. I'll go to Grubhub. Grubhub isn't sending me orders. I'll go to Instacart. Deliver that. Delivered. Veho. Amazon Flex. You have so many opportunities available to you that you can really capitalize on. That's the point. You got to really capitalize on that. Like if Instacart is eaten up, that's one less avenue for us as gig workers. Instacart's IPO has been closely watched among investors as one of the few new stock offerings to hit the market last year. Uber, the ride-hailing service founded in 2009, launched the Uber Eats app in 2015, primarily focused on the delivery of restaurant meals. It launched grocery delivery in July of 2020 during the height of the COVID pandemic, and it added several features such as live tracking of orders and enhanced support for shoppers in 2022. Yeah, Uber Eats has really grown over the pandemic, and the same goes for Doordash and everything else. And all of these apps were really good back in the day, but over time that kind of sucked for us as drivers. An eMarketer report last year estimated Instacart's share of the US third-party grocery delivery market at 73%, followed by DoorDash at 10.9% and Uber Eats at 7.2%. It also competes with self-distributing online grocery services such as Amazon, Walmart, Target, Kroger, and others. Instacart has 73% of the grocery market share. Think about that for a second. DoorDash only has 10.9%. It's unusual for me, as somebody who reads this stuff all the time, to hear DoorDash losing on such a wide margin. This is actually really interesting for me to see. This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. And you pay me. There you go. If Instacart were to be acquired by Uber, that would be a huge L for gig workers. Because the way gig workers make more money is by having more avenues of income, having a well-diversified gig portfolio, and developing an exit strategy so you're never super dependent on the gig work that you're doing. That's why I keep saying to sign up for apps like Doordash, UberEats, Grubhub, Veho, Instacart, Shipped, Deliver That Delivered, Food Fetched, Bolt, etc. Make sure you're on as many platforms as possible so you're never super dependent on any one. But if some of these apps end up getting eaten up by the bigger ones, we have less options available for us, and they have more control over our income, which is no bueno. But that also said, there's a lot of gig workers that wouldn't do shop and pay orders anyway, so this really wouldn't affect them. But I'll tell you this, on Instacart specifically, the base pay is still higher than that of DoorDash or Uber Eats or Grubhub. So if they were to be acquired by Uber, that would be a huge loss of income for those who are actually using that platform. All in all, just do yourself a favor. Make sure you're well diversified, even outside of Instacart and Uber. So that way you're never super dependent on either of them, because if one eats the other, that will end up being a net loss for you as a gig worker. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.